Greetings, Producer's Edge. I'm Eric Pershing from Spectrasonics here at NAMM 2010, and we are very proud to be introducing our entire product line, fully 64-bit, native both on Windows and Mac now. Now that Logic is the first Logic 9.1's been released, and that's the first 64-bit host on the Mac, you can now access all the memory that you've got in your computer, and that's an awesome thing for our instruments. So fully 64-bit for our Groove module, Stylus RMX, our flagship synth Omnisphere, and our brand new Trillion Total Bass module. So this is a really, really cool instrument. Trillion is shipping now. It's the ultimate instrument for acoustic, electric, and synth bass. This is massive. This instrument is 10 times the size of our Trilogy module. It's just epic. You can almost think of it as the Omnisphere of bass. So you've got an incredible acoustic bass. Check this out. So that's just a little bit of an example of the acoustic bass. This one acoustic bass sound has over 21,000 samples in it. This is massive. This is why it's important with the 64-bit release, because these instruments are state-of-the-art. They take you need some juice to run them, but they sound great, and they have a lot of expression. So let's check out some of the electric sounds. Now, there's over 60 electric basses in Trillion, so I can't play all of them, but I can play a little bit of this one here. This is one of the studio basses. And you can do things like legato triggering, so you can. So that's a true legato, so you can do trills and. That's a little bit of the studio funk. And it's also an amazing synth bass. Huge. There's over 1,200 bass sounds in this product. I'm only going to show you a couple, but it's really cool. Let me show you some of the synth bass stuff. We'll start out with sound like this here. Change some of the filtering here. Okay, change the detuning. And then let's go over to see what else we got in here. Maybe take an MS-20. Let's take okay, let's try putting some of these things together and see what it sounds like. Maybe like a mini mode kind of sound. Put them together. And we'll combine these. Trillion, really, really powerful instrument. That's all just one Trillion, but you can access so many different sounds. So really cool instrument. You can check that out. Also, if you have a 32-bit host, we also have a memory server, sample file memory server. And what that allows you to do, if you don't have a 64-bit host yet, you can now access the memory that you have outside of the host. So that's really cool, because if you don't have a 64-bit host yet, you can still get the memory advantage in this 1.2 update. Now, there's also some fantastic new filters that I want to show you in this update. These are brand new developed, and they're coming out in this update for the first time. We're going to take a sound that's kind of a straight ahead. We'll show you these in Omnisphere. Take a nice kind of beefy unison sound here, and check out the quality of these filters, because everybody knows filters are really hard to emulate. There's something about analog filters that's really magic. They're very smooth. But check this out. These are really smooth. These are the new juicy filters is what we call them. So they sound really good at high resonance settings like that, even when it's oscillating. Let's take, but you can have more than just one filter. Instead of just having a low-pass filter like that, you can also mix in a bandpass filter. So here's the bandpass. And then you can also you control the spread, so if you put them together, and it's like basically controlling the cutoff of the left and right speakers separately. So that's a different kind of cutoff control. So that's really cool. So let's mix this up a little bit. We'll take the bandpass filter and let's modulate that with let's say an envelope. Okay, and then we'll take the spread control and we'll modulate that with an LFO and put it all together, and we got. So these are just some of the new filters that are in Omnisphere 1.2 and Trillion 1.2. Really nice new filters that you can add. Another great thing that a lot of users have requested is the ability to have favorites. Because, for instance, on an instrument like Omnisphere, what can happen is, in this version, we're going to be going over 7,000 sounds that Omnisphere comes with. That's a lot of sounds, and it's possible to get lost. You can just have so much in there. But now what you can do is you can rate the sounds. So we have simple star ratings. You can see it here. I can click, just like you would in iPhoto or that kind of thing, and then you can sort by the ratings. So then you can have all your star-rated sounds above, and so that's really handy. That's very fast. But what's even better is, because ratings are cool, but let's say you're rating the sounds while you're working in your punk band, and then you go to your wedding gig, and all the sounds you've rated really don't match, that gig. So what's a lot more useful actually is the project function, because what you can do is you can create a project, and let's say I'm doing my let's say video game project, so I'll just say video game here, and then now as soon as I select a sound, let's say I've got sound like this. Okay, that's kind of good video game sound, and then I'll just tag it like that. That's it. It's now assigned to that project, and now when I go show the projects, I can see it all there, and there's my video game stuff. So you can very quickly assign things to projects. So that's very, very useful. Something that helps you manage all this amazing sounds that you have in these instruments. So the 1.2 update will be available next week, actually. So you'll be able to download it as a public beta initially on Friday, January 22nd, and then it'll be released officially on February 22nd. But you can try it now if you've got Logic 7 or Logic 9.1, and so that's really cool. And then finally, I'd like to show you one more kind of neat new thing here we have. And let me load this up, give you an idea what it can do. Because what we've got is we got a new little iPhone app. And this is really fun. And what it is basically, we call it Omni Live. And what it does is it turns your iPhone into a Omnisphere remote control. It's a wireless remote control for live mode. So as you can see, when I select sounds, you can see the Omnisphere is actually changing on my laptop. So, and as I change the patches in Omnisphere, it'll change the patches in the iPhone. So, and then what's cool is that, of course, you can select multiple sounds in Omnisphere. So if I select more than one, see, I can do multi-touch selection. So I can layer sounds, stack sounds, select individual ones. And then that's, of course, I can do that in front of my screen, but of course I could kind of do the same thing with my mouse or my other keyboard. But where it gets more interesting is if I bring it to another controller, like here I've got a Zendrum connected to my laptop that's playing Omnisphere. So if I put my iPhone here, then I can I can now control. If I want to have a completely different kind of sound here, I can now select sounds in Omnisphere, and I'm not looking at the Omnisphere screen. So I'm doing all that from this controller, but really being able to see, I can see what Omnisphere is doing, and I can select the sounds, make layers. That's a little bit of what you can do with the new Omni Live app. It's a free app, and it'll be available next month on the App Store around the end of the month. And again, everything, all these updates, everything is free to registered users. So thanks for watching. Take care.